So, race day. What I like to do, some races you do have to turn your bike in the day before, okay, and some of them you do it that morning, so you just kind of got to figure all that out. And then whenever it is that I'm turning my bike into transition, what I like to do is I like to be one of the first people there. Because usually, if it's bigger races, it's not a big of a concern. Bigger races will actually put a sticker on the rack exactly where your number is, where you're going to be, okay? And that's fine. But a lot of the smaller races, they'll just put like a sign right here, and it will say numbers 220 to 245. And then whoever gets there gets their spot, okay? I like to get there early because I like to get a spot on one of the ends because you get just a little bit more room to set up your stuff, okay? If it's a hot race that you have to rack your bike the day before, make sure you let a little bit of air out of your tires that night, because when it heats up, it can blow your tube if you've got it inflated all the way. So just bring your pump in the morning and pump them up, and don't show up to race morning with a flat tire or 2 flat tires. No bueno. It depends like where I'm staying. Am I staying somewhere where I can maybe go back to my room or not? That would probably make me too nervous. I probably wouldn't do that unless it was like right there. But I'm just chilling. I'm peeing. I'm drinking. You know, I've got like, if it's Olympic distance or longer, I've probably got something that I'm sipping on just to kind of stay hydrated. You know, if it's a sprint, I'm probably going out for a warm-up run, you know, because I like to warm up. Like, the shorter the distance race, the more warm-up I like to have. So, I like to have time, again, to really make sure I've got all my bathroom issues taken care of. You know, I always come back in right before they close transition, and I just do another quick check of my stuff just to make sure that nothing's been moved. I've never had that problem personally. But I know
on the end.
I'm on the end because I'm there early.
Oh,
there's no movement and stuff.
You can move it a little bit further to the end if you want.
Yeah, somebody moved mine completely off the rack and I had to put there was no space left, and I had to put my bike on the side, and she was trying to find me to figure out where her bike went, I believe, and she couldn't find me.
Oh my gosh.
Because I couldn't even put mine back on the rack. I don't know how it happened, but they just filled the entire rack, and when I came back, I couldn't put my bike on it. So.
No bueno. You know, if somebody takes your bike completely off the rack, that's even worse race karma. Yeah. And that's when I would probably, possibly, depending on what time it was, I might get one of the officials involved. Because the officials are hanging around transition in the morning, you know, just look for their striped shirt. Because what they're looking for, they're looking to make sure you guys have your bar ends, okay? Because they're not going to let you race unless you have those covered. So, you know, always make sure you've got those set. They're also looking to make sure that all the correct bikes are on the right rack. They may take a bike off and re-rack it, like on the right rack if they find that you're in the wrong spot. So just kind of know that too. They're probably not going to mess with your stuff, which is, again, why I like to come in and do another little check beforehand, just to go, okay, everything's where I think it is. All right, on the morning, after I've racked my bike and I've set up my transition stuff, one of the things I like to do is walk through to make sure I know where I'm coming and going, okay? So I like to know exactly where I'm coming in out of the swim, and it's usually going to say swim, exit, or something like that. I like to know exactly what number rack I'm on, so I'll actually come over here. I'll go, okay, here's how I'm, because, you know, you get out of the water and you're like all dizzy and disoriented anyway. So I want to know, okay, I'm going to rack 1, 2, and then I'm going to turn to come to my space. So I'm on the third rack, and I'm going to turn after 2. Then I'm going to go, okay, here's where I'm going out on the bike. I want to make sure I have my bike racked exactly how I want to pull it off the rack to run it out. So I'm going to know exactly where my bike out is. Then, of course, there's probably going to be more racks this way. So if the bike comes in here, I want to know again, I'm rack number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to turn at 4, and then I'm back here to my stuff. So it's just simple as that. And then I want to know again, like where the run out is. So if the run out is this way, I kind of want to know where that is. I don't want to rely on a volunteer. I love volunteers. I have volunteered many times, but a lot of times the volunteers just don't get a lot of info. And so they show up that morning and they're like, okay, here I am. I don't know what I'm doing and no one's told me anything. So I want to be responsible for knowing where I need to be. And again, it's all part of me trying to control my own anxiety that morning.
Do you ever put anything on the end?
No. I don't mess with any of that. No. I try to be...
Oh, they put like little your string or something there, or something.
Well, I see people mark the spots with chalk. I mean, it's put chalk on the ground and put like symbols and stuff like that.
You know, everybody's going to run through here with wet feet, and the chalk may get wiped away. So I don't mess with that. I've tried to be as minimalist as possible. I've gone through a bazillion races where I've done a bazillion different things, and I've just found that being as minimalist as possible works for me. I don't try to overcomplicate things. I can count, and that's as crazy as I want to get it. 2003. And I trained for that race, I feel like, as hard as I possibly could. And I was so fired up to do my first race. And I didn't have any kind of time goal. Of course, I put all the numbers together and thought about it. But I finished that race in 3 hours and 7 seconds. Okay? And I thought, dang it, how cool would it have been to have a 2 in front of my finish time? I never beat that Olympic time. That was in 03. I never went under 3 hours until 2008. I did Memphis in May. Like, I could not get over that 3-hour cloud. And when I started looking at my race results from St. Anthony's that year, I had a 3-minute transition. Okay? There is no reason for that. There is no reason for that. So I have just kind of figured out, okay, I am not the fastest swimmer, I am not the fastest cyclist, I'm not the fastest runner, but damn it, I do pretty well in transition. And like my T1 times are usually under a minute and a half, and usually my T2 times are under a minute. So that is significant time when you're talking about an Olympic distance or shorter. So I've kind of perfected this thing. It's taken me a long time. I used to put out the whole picnic blanket and, set everything up, all this stuff. And physically, I don't need any more space than this right here. Okay? Typically, I have my own strap, but these days they're giving you your strap with your chip. So it's not as big of a deal, but I've just had this for a while, so I keep it just in case. Because I don't want, sometimes they give you those hard plastic, and I'm not going to play that. So, that's already on. I already put that on. You usually get that the morning of the race, even if you turn your bike in the day before.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Because what it does is, it's got the chip, and when you come out of the water, it gives you your swim split time. So every time you cross a mat, it's going to record your time. Okay? Okay, so let's look at what I have here. So when I come in off the swim, I'm pretty much taking off my goggles and my swim cap as I'm running. And we're not going to really talk too much about wetsuits. We kind of talked about that at the open water swim clinic. But I can't even fathom putting on a wetsuit right now. It's so hot. Okay, so I'm pulling off my goggles and swim cap as I'm running in to transition. I'm just going to put that out of the way. I'll probably have my bag right here. So I might just try to toss it in my bag. And then the first thing I'm going to do, I opened up my sunglasses, so they're ready to go. I'm going to put those on. This is exactly in the direction where I can just pop that on. Okay, I'm not sitting. There's no sitting in transition. The other thing I do is I just put regular water in here, and this is what I do to rinse off my feet. I don't dry my feet. I don't wear socks on the bike. That doesn't mean you don't have to. But if I did wear socks, I would just put my socks on my wet feet because they're going to dry. Okay, so I've taken my covers off. Okay, yes, I've forgotten that before.
Yeah. I could get in there.
Darn it. All right, so I'm ready and I'm off. I don't sit. The other thing I do not do is I don't drink or eat in transition because I can do all that on the bike when I'm making forward progress. Okay, hang on. This is the other important thing I like to do. This, I'm taking with me, all right? Because again, I can do all this when I'm running.
Okay.